Welcome to Famevora. Before streaming ruled our screens, the Dukes of Hazzard owned Friday nights. Dust clouds, southern drawls, and an orange Dodge Charger launching off a dirt road like a prayer sent skyward. But time keeps moving long after the wheels touch ground. Some of Hazzard County's finest are still among us. Others have already taken the long road home. Tonight, we look back at the performers who turned a fictional southern county into a place the whole world wanted to visit. And we ask, where are they now? Coy Duke was the show's heartbeat, impulsive, radiant, and always the first one airborne. He didn't calculate the jump, he just flew. John Schneider, born April 8, 1960 in Mount Kisco, New York, just 18 years old when the series launched in 1979, arrived with a natural electricity that no amount of casting could manufacture. Bo mattered because he carried the show's joy. Luke made the plans. Bo made them worth watching. Every grin, every shout out the window, every reckless leap forward reminded audiences that freedom, even borrowed, even temporary, was worth chasing. In the late 70s, that message landed like a lifeline. Schneider built a long career across acting and country music after the series. He remained deeply connected to his fan base throughout. Coy Duke still races through every rerun, forever young, forever laughing, forever just slightly ahead of whatever's chasing him. Luke Duke was the eye of the storm. Calm where Bo was wild, purposeful where the world around him spun sideways. He made the chaos feel principled. Tom Wopat, born September 9, 1951 in Lodi, Wisconsin, 27 years old when the series began, brought a confident, understated authority to a role that could easily have been overshadowed by the louder elements around it. Luke mattered because he gave the Duke boys a moral center. Their law-breaking never felt reckless, it felt righteous, and that distinction was entirely Wopat's doing. The show's best moments weren't the jumps. They were the quiet glances that said, "We'll do what's right, even if we have to run first." After the series, Wopat pursued a respected career in Broadway and music, demonstrating a range that extended far beyond Georgia back roads. He remains one of television's most underrated leading men, the steady hand that kept the General Lee pointed in the right direction. Daisy Duke was Hazzard County's most dangerous asset, not because of her wardrobe, but because she was almost always the smartest person in any room she entered. Catherine Bach, born March 1, 1954 in Cleveland, Ohio, 24 years old at the series premiere in 1979, created a character so fully realized that her name became a cultural landmark, and her shorts became a dictionary entry. Daisy mattered because she refused to be decoration. She drove the yellow Jeep, worked the boar's nest, gathered intelligence, ran interference, and rescued the Duke boys as often as they rescued her. In a genre that routinely sidelined its women, Bach planted Daisy at the center of every operation. After the series, Bach continued acting, including a notable run on The Young and the Restless. She remained an enduring presence in popular culture. Daisy Duke endures not as a costume, but as a portrait of a woman who was fearless before fearlessness was fashionable. Uncle Jesse was the soul the Duke family organized itself around. Unhurried, unshakable, and carrying the quiet authority of a man who had already seen everything worth seeing. Denver Pyle, born May 11, 1920, in Bethune, Colorado, 58 years old when the Dukes of Hazzard premiered, gave the series its moral foundation in a world otherwise built on combustion and comedy. Jesse mattered because he reminded audiences what the running was actually for. The Dukes weren't just evading the law, they were protecting a home, a name, and a set of values that no badge could purchase. Pyle played Jesse as someone whose patience was a form of power. Calm not because nothing troubled him, but because he had long since decided what was worth standing firm for. Pyle arrived in Hazzard with decades of distinguished film and television behind him. He passed away on December 25, 1997, from lung cancer at age 77. In every rerun, Uncle Jesse still occupies the porch, steady as a porch light and twice as warm. Boss Hogg was corruption repackaged as comedy, a man so thoroughly crooked he had circled back around to charming. Every scheme announced itself in a white suit and a self-satisfied grin. Sorrel Book, born January 4, 1930 in Buffalo, New York, 49 years old when the series launched, transformed Hazzard's chief villain into one of television's most beloved comic antagonists. Boss Hogg mattered because the show's entire balance rested on him. He needed to pose a genuine threat without tipping the world dark. Book achieved that with a character actor's precision, theatrical enough to be hilarious, committed enough to be believed. Every tantrum was a deliberate choice. Every scheme, a performance in itself. Book built a broad career across film and television. He passed away on February 11, 1994, from colorectal cancer at age 64. Boss Hogg endures as proof that a villain played with craft, commitment, and a well-timed twinkle can become as beloved as any hero. The Balladeer was the show's conscience and its atmosphere, a voice that made Hazzard feel less like a television set and more like a place someone had actually lived. Waylon Jennings, born June 15, 1937, in Littlefield, Texas, 41 years old when the series premiered in 1979, stepped into the narrator's role carrying the full weight of outlaw country legend behind every syllable. The Balladeer mattered because he didn't merely explain the story, he elevated it. His narration gave each episode the texture of folklore, something told around a fire rather than broadcast on a schedule. And his theme song, Good Old Boys, became permanently fused with the show's identity, an anthem of freedom, loyalty, and cheerful defiance. Jennings was already a giant in American music, his influence stretching well beyond any single television credit. He passed away on February 13, 2002, from complications due to diabetes at age 64. That voice never fully left the road. It's still out there, somewhere between Hazzard and wherever you first heard it. Rosco P. Coltrane was the law as lived-in farce, a badge worn by a man who believed completely in his own authority despite every available piece of evidence to the contrary. James Best, born July 26, 1926 in Powderly, Kentucky, 52 years old when the series began, transformed a role that could have been purely irritating into one of television comedy's most enduring creations. Rosco mattered because Best gave him genuine innocence. He wasn't corrupt in his heart, just wrong in his methods, loyal to the wrong man, and blinded by his own enthusiasm. That internal belief, the unshakable certainty that today would finally be his day, was what made him funny rather than cruel. In a series built on light-hearted law-breaking, Rosco was the perfect pursuer, dangerous enough to maintain tension, silly enough to keep the tone bright. Best had a long and respected acting career before and beyond Hazzard. He passed away on April 6, 2015, from complications due to pneumonia at age 88. Rosco is still rounding that corner, siren wailing, forever late, forever certain. Cooter Davenport was the kind of friend most people spend a lifetime searching for. Always present, never asking for credit, and capable of fixing whatever broke. Ben Jones, born August 30, 1941 in Tarboro, North Carolina, 37 years old when the series premiered, turned Hazzard's local mechanic into the show's quiet, emotional anchor. Cooter mattered because he grounded the Duke boys in something real, community. They weren't lone rebels. They were part of a town that chose to stand behind them. His humor never felt manufactured. His loyalty never required explanation, and his garage was more than a set. It was the place the story came home to. After the series, Jones pursued public service, winning election to the United States Congress, while remaining deeply connected to the show's passionate fan community throughout. Ben Jones is living proof that Hazzard County's true engine was never the General Lee. It was the people who showed up every time it needed fixing. Enos Strate was decency in a uniform, an honest deputy navigating a system designed by and for dishonest men, trying every day to do the right thing in a county where the right thing was rarely convenient. Sonny Schroyer, born August 28, 1935 in Valdosta, Georgia, 43 years old when the series launched, brought a gentleness to the role that softened Hazzard's entire atmosphere. Enos mattered because he made the world feel humane. He wasn't slow, he was kind. And that internal conflict between what the badge demanded and what his conscience required gave his scenes a moral texture rare in slapstick television. His quiet affection for Daisy added warmth, and his fundamental decency made him memorable enough to earn his own spin-off series. Schroyer continued acting across film and television following the show. Enos Strate remains a reminder that the most heroic choice is sometimes simply refusing to stop believing in right and wrong, even when everyone around you has moved on from both. Cletus Hogg was the accidental heart of Hazzard's law enforcement. Boss Hogg's nephew, Rosco's backup, and the show's warmest proof that wearing a badge and being built for authority are two entirely different things. Rick Hurst, born January 1, 1946 in Houston, Texas, 33 years old when he joined the cast, played Cletus with a slapstick warmth that made him endearing rather than simply ridiculous. Cletus mattered because he kept the comedy human. He lacked the cunning to be genuinely corrupt and the nerve to be genuinely brave, and that in-between space was genuinely funny. His eagerness to please, his reliable confusion, and his occasional honest conscience made him feel like a real small-town man who'd wandered into entirely the wrong career, but was trying his level best. Hurst remained active in television and stayed connected to the show's fan community through conventions and reunions. Cletus is still out there somewhere, directions wrong, heart completely right, smiling like he just might figure it out today. Coy Duke arrived at one of television's most delicate moments. A familiar-feeling stranger asked to step into shoes the audience had already decided belonged to someone else. Byron Cherry, born June 1, 1955 in Atlanta, Georgia, 27 years old when he took the role, accepted an assignment that no amount of talent could fully solve, because the problem wasn't performance. It was precedent. Coy mattered because replacement characters reveal how deeply audiences bond with the originals. Fans don't simply follow characters, they adopt them. Cherry understood this and never tried to imitate Bo or Luke. He brought his own energy, his own humor, and his own version of the Duke spirit, rebellious charm, instinctive loyalty, quick thinking under pressure. Cherry continued acting and remained connected to the Duke fan community through events and conventions. His time as Coy Duke stands as a sincere chapter in the show's history, and a testament to how rare it is to step into lightning and survive with your dignity entirely intact. Vance Duke was another temporary bridge. A cousin called up when the show needed to keep moving and the original drivers had stepped away. Christopher Mayer, born February 21, 1954 in New York City, 29 years old when he joined the cast, brought genuine warmth and enthusiasm to a role that the circumstances had already made nearly impossible to fully own. Vance mattered because his brief chapter illuminates a truth about long-running television. A show becomes its people. The writing, the setting, the cars, all of it exists in service of specific human presences. Mayer gave Vance good nature and real effort, and his season remains one of the series' most honest moments. a production trying to hold momentum while audiences quietly waited for familiar faces to return. Mayer continued acting with appearances across genre television. He passed away on March 16, 2021, from natural causes at age 67. His Vance Duke is a small but genuine chapter in a large story, proof that real ensemble chemistry is among the rarest things television can produce. Miss Emma Tisdale was Hazzard County's postmistress, its long memory, and arguably its most fearless citizen. A woman who looked Boss Hogg in the eye and told him precisely what she thought without pausing for breath. Nedra Volz, born February 26, 1908, in Montrose, Iowa, 71 years old when the series launched, turned brief appearances into unforgettable moments through nothing more than sheer force of presence and absolute conviction. Miss Tisdale mattered because she embodied a particular small-town truth. Every community carries one person who knows everything, fears no one, and refuses to be moved. Tisdale was that person in Hazzard, sharp, principled, and entirely unimpressed by corruption. In a narrative built around outsmarting the powerful, she was the community's conscience made visible and vocal. Volz had a prolific career playing formidable older women across classic American television. She passed away on February 4, 1997, from complications due to Alzheimer's disease at age 88. Her Miss Tisdale remains irreplaceable, the toughest person in any room she ever entered. And so Hazzard County lives on, not only in syndication, but in the part of us that still believes in dirt roads, chosen families, and the particular freedom of outrunning whatever is gaining on you. Some of these performers are still with us, still working, still connected to the legacy they built together across 7 seasons and a stretch of Georgia road that existed only on a soundstage but felt entirely real. Many have passed, leaving behind something rarer than fame. Genuine warmth that audiences return to by choice, decade after decade. If this journey brought you back to the county road, please like, subscribe, and ride with us again here on Famevora. Until next time, stay loyal, drive fast, and keep the General Lee pointed toward the horizon.